This is the water cycle. First, ocean water gets heated by the sun and through the process of evaporation turns into water vapor and is released into the atmosphere. It can then condense and become a cloud. It can then also transport through the atmosphere. When the water droplets become too large, it is then released as precipitation, such as rain or snowflakes. Due to its composition, it can filter into the soil through the process of infiltration. Or, as ice caps melt from mountains, you can move down the mountain, they can move down the mountain and become part of a runoff. Plants can also release water into the atmosphere through the process of transpiration.
This is the carbon cycle. The carbon in the atmosphere is used for photosynthesis in plants. Photosynthesis is a process in which it changes carbon dioxide and water into carbohydrates for plants by using the energy from the sunlight. The plant then releases oxygen into the atmosphere by a byproduct. The soil then gets the carbon from decay of dead plants and other organisms living there. The ocean gets carbon by the exchange of carbon dioxide with the ocean's surfaces. Living in the ocean's surface are phytoplankton. Phytoplankton are microscopic plants taking carbon from the water to build their bodies. As they grow up, one of two things can happen. One, they can be eaten, or return to their component minerals. Two, when they die, they fall into the deep ocean. Because the circulation of the ocean is slow, the carbon can be stored in the ocean for a long time. This is called a biological pump. In the deep circulation, some of the carbon that gets trapped in sediments from oil and gas. Another way carbon can get into the ocean is runoff, where calcium carbonate and other minerals add to sediments in the ocean. The carbon gets back into the atmosphere by burning fossil fuels, respiration, and burning. When fossil fuels burn, it releases the carbon that has been trapped for years. Carbon dioxide is a waste product of respiration. Burning releases the CO2 from the trees into the atmosphere. After this, the cycle continues.
This is the nitrogen cycle. This cycle has to take place because atmospheric nitrogen cannot be used directly by plants and animals. It first has to be converted to nitrogenous compounds. It all starts with atmospheric nitrogen. This nitrogen is then turned into ammonia, also called NH3. This is through the process of rhizobium. Rhizobium takes place in the root nodules of plants. Next, they are turned into nitrates, also called NO3. This takes place through the process of nitrifying bacteria. Plants then can take these nitrates up from the soil and absorb them into their roots. They use these nitrates to make protein. Next, animals eat these plants to get their protein. Don't mind my artistic skills. Over time, nitrogenous wastes, such as plant wastes and animal wastes, released ammonia back into the atmosphere. This process happens because of decay. cycle then happens again. Some nitrates are directly converted back into atmospheric nitrogen through the process of denitrifying bacteria. Lastly, atmospheric nitrogen can also become nitrates through the process of lightning strikes.